our heartfelt gratitude to you for this noble gesture. Without further delay, let us begin by inviting our esteemed dignitaries onto the dais. First, I would like to invite Professor K. Qasim, Principal, Arts College, Osmania University, a distinguished academician and an administrator dedicated to higher education. Sir, we request you to kindly join us on the dais. Mr. Chinje, former Manager, External Affairs and Communications, World Bank, a global expert in communication strategies. His insight today will be invaluable. Sir, may I kindly invite you to the stage? Mrs. The patron of this event, whose generous support has made this gathering possible. Ma'am, we are deeply grateful for your commitment to education and journalism. Kindly take your seat on the dais. Dr. T. Satish Kumar, Head Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, a mentor and dedicated academician instrumental in organizing this event today. Sir, please grace the stage. With all our distinguished guests on the stage, we are set to commence this significant event. To formally begin, I now invite Professor K. Qasim, Principal, Arts College, Osmania University, to deliver the welcome speech.
I am C. Qasim Chintakindi. Thank you, Dr. Satish. Today's program main leader and today's invitee Mr. Chinje. Actually, this is Arts College. I am the professor in Department of Telugu. Now I am acting as a principal of this college. I am the second person of principal of this college from Department of Telugu. First person, my teacher, my senior professor, S.V. Satyanarayana. He was worked as a principal only 15 days. So after that, I take the charge. Professor Arjun Rao was a principal of this college, and Sultana Madam. After that, I took the charge. Today, our chief guest, I warm welcome, and you all know very well, he is a good scholar and good speaker. He continued Sarwat's legacy as a journalist, he worked in many places. So, you know very well today Indian journalism. I hope that he bring awareness among you regarding today's moral journalism, and also Mr. Sarwat Hussaian, dedicated personality in his profession. He was a good journalist and communicator. We proud he was a alumni of Osmania University and Arts College. He worked for many countries, many backward countries. I thank to Sarwat sir for instituting gold medal in journalism department in memory of his parents. It is reflecting his commitment inside of the education. It was instituted 1921. After in a few days he passed away from us. It is a sad news for us. And also I warm welcome Mrs. Sarwat sir, and I thank to Madam continuing Sarwat sir legacy. And I am requesting Madam, this is Arts College, you know. Arts College is a very poor college regarding financially. As a principal, I am poor person. My students also. So, you are I think that మీరు బాగా సహాయం చేస్తారని విన్నారు మేడం. కనుక ఆర్ట్స్ కాలేజ్ we have our students and teaching staff have more vehicles today. When I was studying here, I have no bike. My senior professor here, Narendra sir, I think that his student days also have no motorcycle. But today, every student have one motorcycle and every faculty have one car. But we have no separate parking place in front of the arts college. If you possible, we are requesting if you donated some money to our college, we are preparing separate parking place other side of the arts college. So it is my request. And dear students, journalism anedi, journalist washed up to the society and enter ప్రపంచాన్ని తమ కళ్ళతో నిరంతరం వీక్షిస్తూ ఉంటారు. And also it is the fourth estate of our democracy అని అంటారు. ఈ ఫోర్త్ ఎస్టేట్ ఇది సరిగ్గా ఉంటే ఈ దేశం ఈ ప్రపంచం బాగుంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే మిగతా మూడు శాసన నిర్మాణ శాఖ జ్యుడిషియరీ ఇవన్నీ విత్ ఇన్ ద గవర్నమెంట్ ఎలా చెప్తే, ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఎలా చెప్తే, చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ ఎలా చెప్తే అలా పనిచేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. కానీ మీడియా ఒక్కటే కాస్త దూరంగా ఉంటుంది అని ఒక నమ్మకం ఉండేది. ఇవాళ మీడియా కూడా పూర్తిగా రాజకీయ నాయకుల చేతుల్లోకి వెళ్ళిన స్థితిలో మీరు జర్నలిజం చదువుతూ ఉన్నారు. శ్రీశ్రీ గారు నాకు చాలా ఇష్టమైన పోయిట్. 1980s ఆ టైంలో చెప్పాడు, పెట్టుబడికి కట్టుకథకి పుట్టిన విషపుత్రికలు పత్రికలు అన్నాడు ఆయన. పెట్టుబడికి కట్టుకథకి పుట్టిన విషపుత్రికలు పత్రికలు. నిజంగా పత్రికలన్నీ క్యాపిటల్ తోనే ఉంటాయి. ఒక సామాన్య మా సీనియర్ ప్రొఫెసర్ నరేంద్ర గారు ఒక న్యూస్ పేపర్ పెట్టే పరిస్థితి లేదు, పెట్టలేరు. ఒక మామూలు పర్సన్ పెట్టలేరు ఈ రోజుల్లో. కానీ ఒకప్పుడు కందుకూరి వీరేశలింగం, గురజాడ అప్పారావు, రాజా రామ్మోహన్ రాయ్, మహాత్మా గాంధీ, డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ వీళ్ళందరూ చిన్న చిన్న పత్రికలు పెట్టి ఆనాటి నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్కి వాళ్ళు దోహదపడ్డారు. కనుక ఈ రోజున్న జర్నలిజంలో మీరందరూ జాగ్రత్తగా చదివి సమాజానికి ఎవరికైతే గొంతు లేదో ఆ గొంతు లేని వాళ్ళకి మీరు గొంతుగా మారి ఈ అభివృద్ధిలో భాగమవుతారని కోరుకుంటూ నేను దయచేసి నన్ను క్షమించాలి. వైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ గారు ఇప్పుడే ఫోన్ చేసి అర్జెంట్ ప్రిన్సిపాల్స్ మీటింగ్ ఉంది వెంటనే రావాలి అని అన్నారు. అందుకోసం ఈ మీటింగ్లో ఎక్కువసేపు ఉండలేకపోతున్నందుకు మీకు సారీ చెప్తూ నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన మాస్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ అండ్ జర్నలిజం డిపార్ట్మెంట్ స్టూడెంట్స్ అండ్ స్టాఫ్ మీకు అందరికీ వందనాలు తెలియజేస్తూ సర్వత్ హుస్సేన్ ఆ పేరు స్పెల్లింగ్ ఏదో చిన్న తప్పు చదివానని చెప్పాడు మా స్టూడెంట్. సారీ చెబుతూ థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Youngest principal in, I think usually principals are above 55 or close to retirement, they take up this charge, but he's, I think, youngest principal in the last 100 years or so. So, respected principal, guest of the day, Mr. Eric Chinje, and our patron, Mrs. Vidya Bhandarkar, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and students. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our guest for today's memorial lecture, a man whose life and career epitomizes excellence, leadership, and a profound commitment to Africa's development through media, communication, and social entrepreneurship. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Eric Chinje, the Chief Executive of the Asia Media Initiative and a towering figure in the fields of journalism, strategic communication, and development. Mr. Eric is a Cameroonian-born visionary whose career spans over 3 decades, during which he has made indelible contribution to media, governance, and social development across Africa and beyond. Currently based in Nairobi, Kenya, as the CEO of the African Media Initiative, Mr. Chinje has dedicated his life to strengthening Africa's media landscape, empowering journalists, and fostering accountability and good governance through independent media. His work has not only shaped the way for Africa, the way Africa tells its stories, but has also amplified the continent's voice on the global stage. Before assuming his current role in July 2014, Mr. Chinje served as a visiting scholar at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, where he continues to contribute his expertise till today. His academic engagements are a testament to his deep intellectual rigor and his commitment to nurturing the next generation of leaders and communicators. Prior to this, he held the position of senior advisor at KRL International, a Washington-based international communications and trade relations firm. In this capacity, he advised the government of Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, and South Sudan on strategic development and international communications, helping these nations navigate complex challenges and articulate their vision for progress. Mr. Eric's journey in media and development began in his home country, Cameroon, where he served as the first head of news and programs and editor-in-chief of Cameroon Television from 1984 to 1991. During this time, he oversaw the launch of Cameroon Television, designed and produced news and entertainment programs, and established inter-organizational relations that laid the foundation for the country's broadcasting industry. His early career also saw him contribute as a correspondent for CNN World Report and as a stringer for renowned international media outlets such as BBC World Service, Voice of America, where he reported on major national and continental events. His passion for media and development led him to the World Bank, where he held several key positions, including Manager of External Affairs and Communications for the Africa region and spokesperson on Africa. During his tenure, he initiated and ran a series of workshops on economics and business reporting, investigative journalism, budget coverage, and reporting on agriculture, training over 2,000 journalists across Africa and Asia. He also conceived and launched the Image, independent media for accountability, governance, and empowerment program at the World Bank Institute, a groundbreaking e-learning initiative aimed at building media capacity to report on and analyze global developmental issues. Mr. Chinje's leadership extends beyond the media sector. He has served as Director of Strategic Communications and advisor at the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, where he played a pivotal role in shaping the foundation's communication strategy and advising its leadership. He has also been a founding board member of several influential organizations, including Africa Check, a non-profit dedicated to improving fact-checking and news gathering in Africa, and the African Media Initiative, which he helped establish as chair of its steering committee. Additionally, he co-founded the Africa Media Leaders Forum, an annual gathering of media owners and leaders that has become a cornerstone of Africa's media ecosystem. A true social entrepreneur, Mr. Chinje has launched several successful initiatives aimed at empowering communities and fostering economic growth. These include Santa MC2, an award-winning microfinance institution in Cameroon. Santa Features Incorporated, a diaspora-funded investment initiative, and the Bubinga process, which strengthens micro-enterprises in Cameroon through fresh capital and modern business skills. His work in social entrepreneurship reflects his unwavering belief in the power of grassroots initiatives to drive sustainable development. Mr. Chinje's contribution have not gone unnoticed. He is an officer of the Cameroon Order of Merit and officer of Dutch Order of Orange, honors that recognize his exceptional service and achievements. He has also been recognized with the Achievement in Media Award, a fitting tribute to his lifelong dedication to journalism and communication. Beyond his professional accomplishment, Mr. Chinje is deeply committed to social causes. He chairs the Breezer Lee Silence Foundation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which supports victims of sexual violence and serves as honorary chair of ARK Jammers Connection Incorporated. He is also a co-conceptor of Ancestry Reconstruction Program, an initiative that connects DNA-certified Africans of the historical diaspora to their roots in Africa. His leadership roles in organizations such as Make Every Woman Count, the Zambia Orphans Aid, and the Tutu Desk campaign further underscores his dedication to uplifting vulnerable communities. Mr. Eric Chinje is not just a leader, but a trailblazer whose work has transformed Africa's media landscape and inspired countless individuals across the continent. His life's mission to harness the power of communication for development and social change resonates deeply. It is therefore a great honor to have him here with us as a chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in welcoming Mr. Eric Chinje. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good morning. When I was invited to come, they asked me for my CV, for a brief version of my CV. And I sent, I think, 5 lines. And I was, I was convinced in half a minute or maybe 1 minute, he'll tell the story of my life.
Sorry.
What I didn't know, or I should have known, is that the internet exists. Nothing hides anymore. So I am delighted to be here. I want to thank, if you don't mind, I will try to find my speech, which I had before when I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I can't find it. But if I don't find it, I still have a lot of things I can tell you. Just bear with me 1 more second. I'll probably find it. Okay, well, it's somewhere. I'm just amazed seeing all the young faces in this room. I'm delighted you're here because I love to talk to young people. I really do, because I know that all the young people in this room, you are in a privileged position to shape the world as we will know it. I'll get to that in my speech. But I really wanted you to know that I'm delighted, happy you're here. Those in uniforms, are you wearing uniforms in this university, really? Yeah. Huh? Oh, well, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So let me get to what I prepared as a memorial lecture. I usually love speaking from the heart. But when I think that a group is so important that you cannot just run your mouth, I actually sat down and as I was traveling here, I was typing away, trying to make sure that my ideas are structured. So I hope you don't mind my reading. Occasionally I'll forget to read and I'll be talking to you, but I'll read right now because this is the speech I prepared, or some of it. I can't find the rest of it. So I started with, Dear Vijay. That was my first word. I'll talk about her later, but Dear Vijay, and I had all the other names. I don't know why. This usually happens. Yeah, I can't find that speech anymore, and what I've found doesn't have all the names, like, I think I'll just speak from the heart, I guess, Maybe that's why. Maybe Sarwat is doing this to me. But, I was going to, I started off saying, Dear Vijay, I was going to thank everybody else, Professor Kumar, Professor Kasim, Narendra, and so many people here have been wonderful to me. I'll let you know this hopefully I'll get to parts of my speech where I say this clearly. It is both a privilege and a solemn honor. Before I read this, I do this, huh? No, I haven't found it, but it's okay.
You want me to help you find it?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to recognize the presence here of Professor Manju Jaika, who came in from Delhi, actually, and who's been a great friend of mine, and Sarwat's done a lot of things together. The last time I was in India and traveled around a number of universities, she got me to come here. So thank you for coming again and giving us your support. So back to my speech. If I see anybody sleeping, I'll stop and wake you up. All right? So it's a privilege and an honor to stand before you today you see, this is not the speech I prepared, because I said at the opening of the Sarawat Hussaian Digital Media Center. We're preparing to open that center, so this is the lead up to the opening. A space that will not only serve as a tribute to a remarkable thinker, but as a beacon for the future of technology, journalism, and knowledge in a very rapidly changing world. That's the mission of this center. Hyderabad, this vibrant and historic city, shaped and nurtured my late brother and friend, Sarwat Hussaian, this city. Sarwat, a man whose intellect, humility, and creativity left an indelible mark on journalism, global policy, and governance let me just stop here to again invite you, the young journalists, listen to the qualities of the man. Intellect, humility, creativity. Use your head, be humble, and be creative. That's who Sarwat was. So this is my third visit to this remarkable city, and each time my connection to the city deepened. My last visit was special. My last visit to Hyderabad was particularly special because Sarwat was here to receive my sister and me. Sarwat and Vijay received my younger sister and me when we were here the last time. This was 2023, I think. 20, that far?
Yeah, February 20.
Okay. True to his nature, Sarwat had meticulously planned every detail of that visit, just as he had for my earlier visits, because I was here before that, when he was not around. And this is the essential Sarwat. He was very thoughtful, very precise, and dedicated to making things not just happen, but happen flawlessly. I'm insisting on these words because I hope you, the younger people, will leave here with a different sense of who you can be, what you should be, what the world today needs. Because I think my friend, in many, many ways, symbolized all of that. Sarwat was more than a colleague to me. He was a thinker, a problem solver, a storyteller. A storyteller. Five days before he passed away, we were driving. I took him to see a friend of ours, a medical doctor friend of ours. He was in a little bit of pain, but nothing to be alarmed about. And for most of that it took about an hour to get to this place we were going to. It's called Frederick in Maryland, the state of Maryland. It took about an hour to get there, and as we were driving, we were talking about a paper he and I were collaborating on. We were writing a paper that I was supposed to publish in Cameroon. It was about governance in Cameroon. So we were talking about that as we drove. I didn't know then that this was going to be the last trip with my friend Sarwat, and that this was going to be the last act of collaboration between him and I. At the World Bank, we worked to strengthen media across Africa, some parts of Asia, and Europe. His vision was not just to shape the media landscape. He was determined to shape the narratives, the policies, the institutions of media. He had a passion for doing that. And despite his vast knowledge, one amazing thing about my friend, and I hope you can take from it, one amazing thing about him is he never sought the spotlight. You know, as journalists, you go on television once, you go back home and they tell you, oh, you're a star, and then you lose your head. You want to become, you want to be the face of the nation, maybe. My friend never sought that. And yet, he prepared so many young people to grow into that. Many of his mentees from across the globe, from the US, Africa especially, but also Asia and Europe, spoke up when he was laid to rest. There were these Zoom conferences, organized especially by the World Bank, and a lot of people participated in those conferences to bear testimony to who Sarwat Hussaian was. And it was just amazing. Even in the House, I think you remember, there was just such a diversity of people, who stood up to speak about how he had affected their lives. The question now is, who shaped, we may want to ask, how did Hyderabad produce such a person? Well, obviously, Osmania University did. So if we think about who shaped Sarwat, we must express gratitude to what this institution did. Yeah, you can give yourselves a clap for that. But quite specifically, so the university did, played a great role, but quite specifically, there are three people I want to mention. Three. And it's important for you also, and again, I'm addressing myself to the younger people, it's important for you to think about those people who play a role in your lives and see what role they're playing in your lives. And listen to them if you have to listen to them. I picked three, but there were lots of people who helped in shaping the man we got to know as Sarwat Hussaian. The three that I want to refer to are Vijay, the wife, a woman who, every time I see her, I think of Indira Gandhi because she kind of looks like her. And she's not just a keeper of his legacy, but the driving force behind the creation of the Digital Media Center. I'm not wrong about that, right? Which is one reason we're going to call it the Sarwat Hussaian Digital Media Center. With her vision, her determination, and her unwavering commitment to my friend and brother, she has ensured that Sarwat's ideals and ideas live on, not in memory alone, but in action. Every day we come to this center, we will remember him. Every day, the students who graduate from this institution play a part in the transformation of the world. Hopefully, you'd recognize the fact that it all came from here. The second person I'll talk about is Sarwat's older brother, Sarwat, who happens to be here with us. Remember I talked about him shunning the limelight? He got that from his brother. I know he's so uncomfortable that I'm putting the focus on him, but I'm going to put the spotlight on you, sir, because you deserve it. In many ways, Sarwat was an inspiration to Sarwat. The values, the intellect, and the character that defined Sarwat were in no small part shaped by his brother's influence. And we're told that great minds are not born in isolation. They are nurtured, they are challenged, they are guided by people who came before them. And that's what Sarwat did for my friend and brother and his brother, Sarwat Hussaian. A third person who could not be with us today, but who also played a significant role in Sarwat's life is a man we call Ishmael Serageldin. You'd agree with that, right? Mr. Serageldin was a vice president of the World Bank. He was chair of the CGIAR. Does anybody know what the CGIAR stands for? Yes, I'm sure you do. The Consultative Group on International and Agricultural Research. Fantastic. Thank you so much. He was chair of the CGIAR, vice president of the World Bank. He became the director of the Library of Alexandria, one of the greatest academic institutions in the world today, when he left the bank. And he's written about 100 books, Mr. Sarah Gelden. A great guy, great mind, and when he discovered Sarwat, he never let him go. He was with him to the end. In the last days, Sarah Gelden came to the house. And I recall this one moment where three of us sat together at the house. We had been there, Asha was there, a number of us with Sarwat. He was in pain. This was 2 or 3 days before he passed away. And we're sitting, at one time he couldn't sit. He said he had to lie down on the ground. And he went and stretched out on the ground in the living room where we all were. And then someone suggested, probably Vijay, said, look, go to the next room where there's a small bed in the room next to the living room. And he went there, and I followed, and Sarah Gelden came. And I have never been more grateful to God for keeping me in one room with those two great minds. It was an unusual moment. I could never have imagined that 2 days later they'll be telling me that Sarwat is gone. But anyway, we spent those last moments together, and I say this just to bring home the fact of Sarah Gelden playing a critical role in Sarwat's development. I believe that this digital media center is the perfect legacy for Sarwat. And I'll tell you why. We're doing more than just honoring his memory. We're actually carrying forward his mission. I believe, for having been with him for so long, I'll tell you that during the COVID months, when nobody was supposed to go out of their homes, just to ease the pressure of being locked in every day, we decided that we will get together in spite of everything at least once a week. And once a week, we all, 2 other friends and myself, will go over to Sarwat's house during the COVID lockdown. And it was in those moments that I drew from that mind of his, you know. It's from those moments that I rediscovered my friend. Sarwat understood that we talked a lot about the media, and he understood that media is not just about reporting facts. Media is about shaping societies. It is especially in this era of digital transformation, where there's a lot of misinformation and where the media landscape is constantly shifting. I hope that this center will stand as a beacon of integrity, of critical thinking, of responsible journalism. If any of the students can remember what I said, I'll take you out for coffee. Anybody remember the 3 things I said that we hope this center will do? I'll just say it again. I hope that this center will stand as a beacon of integrity, of critical thinking, and of responsible journalism. Think about that. We are living in an era of unprecedented technological advancements, the rapid evolution of artificial intelligence, remember that too. Remember that. You know, machine learning, quantum computing, robotics, animation, the Internet of Things. There's so much going on right now. The world is changing radically. And India is one of the most dynamic societies where these things, you know, we all think Silicon Valley, California, United States. No, India is the place to be. And you guys are here. And as they say, the prophet is never quite recognized in his home. I hope you are the prophets. This is where you should be. This is where it's happening. That revolution that will redefine the way we live on this planet. And you have to prepare yourselves for that. So India is at the forefront of this transformation. And Hyderabad, with its thriving innovation ecosystem, is home to cutting-edge developments in AI, digital connectivity, and so on, blockchain solutions. The opening of this center is evidence of India's commitment to ensuring that its future generations are not just consumers of technology, but leaders in defining its ethical and transformative potential. You have a lot on your shoulders, young people. So, my call to action. So to the students, and of course the faculty, to all of you, I have to say that you have a responsibility, not just to study these technologies. Please, you must have a sense of what's going on, what blockchain solutions are, what algorithms have to be developed to resolve real-world problems. I was driving here and I had to close my eyes often because I thought we were going to bump into the next car. I don't know. There's got to be some algorithm that will help us figure out how to drive. You see, think about those real-life issues, real-life problems. And I hope that those who will study here, knowing that the world is watching what's going on in India. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to a friend last night, and he said, "Oh my God, it is time for me to come to India because I don't want to be out of place as the world changes. I have to come to India." So there's that sense that the real stuff is happening in this country. So think about that. So to all of you, I say, don't just study, be those who bring change to the world and transformation through technology. So we do not need passive observers. What the world needs are the architects of a more inclusive and equitable digital future. That's what the world needs, and that's who you should be. We need to expand connectivity and digital inclusion. And how can we ensure that access is not a privilege, but a fundamental right? If technology is going to change the world, people have to have access to it. So how do we do that? Again, that's a question, the people who grapple with these issues every day, the politicians, they don't have the answers. They do not. So you should think about it and propose those solutions. How do we bring technological solutions to the remotest parts of this country? And if we can figure that out, we'll figure out how to bring it to the rest of the world. How can we design policies to make high-speed internet affordable smart devices, digital literacy, accessible to the most remote corners of India and of the world. AI, artificial intelligence, is revolutionizing education, health, governance, and so on, but it also has a lot of risks. I'm sure, do you guys talk about this? The flip side, the risky side of artificial intelligence? Do you get to talk about this in your studies? I'm asking the young people. I hope you do. You've got to understand it. It's not just the excitement at what we can do with artificial intelligence. It is the threats that it also poses. But the threats should not prevent us from digging in and finding out more and learning how to use the technology, because it has amazing potential. So it's revolutionizing everything, and we need to develop the right algorithms that will help us use AI as we should. There's an area, I'm just giving you some ideas that you can work with. You know, one of the things that the world is grappling with right now is climate change. Climate change. Just think about it. So as you're sitting down, listening to your professors, please think about this. How can I use the knowledge I'm absorbing? How can I use it to help find solutions for dealing with climate? You heard about the fires in California a few weeks ago. Millions lost in these wildfires. You heard about the floods in so many countries. I mean, I don't know which one was worse than which, but you know, floods everywhere. So you have floods on the one hand, you have fires on the other, and we're all just confused. And then you have a president in America who says he does not recognize climate change. So don't listen to him. That was not a political statement. I don't intend to get into the politics of these things. But climate change is for real. It's real. So one of you can decide that you're going to, you know, use your mind to help the world find some answers to the problems of climate. It's another area that you may want to think about: finance and governance. I'm talking about the issues that keep the world, that the world continues to grapple with. Finance. We were talking this morning about, I was asking how this building, what it would cost to put up a building like this today. Do you know what the answer was? The answer was that India might not be able to build a building like this today, because it'll cost more than the country can afford. And my question was, how could this country afford to put this building 100 years ago and today it cannot? There's a problem there. There's a problem there. And I don't know whether I have the permission to share some thoughts that Sarwat gave me. Maybe not. But, you know, he reminded me that some young lady is very concerned with something over on the other side. I'm pointing in the wrong direction, but she's somewhere else. But he reminded me that less than 5% of the people in this country actually pay taxes. Is that true? Yeah. Less than 5% actually pay taxes. So there's no money. And the money that goes into these soft projects that politicians can distribute. So there's no money for structures like this. Again, I think maybe it could be as simple as trying to figure out how to generate income for the country and ensuring that good governance, ensuring that the country uses it well. Maybe they'll be able to put up structures like this that the Nizam? Yeah, the 7th Nizam used to build something like this. Why have we not gone forward? Why are we unable to do stuff like this now? So you could, and if it's about resources, if it's about finance, maybe what you can do is try to help figure out how this country can do it and move forward. It is just not acceptable that 100 years after this happened, India is not in a position to replicate it, and many times over. So there are things, the future of finance and governance is something you can address. I want to let you know, or think about it, incorporate this into your thinking. The impact of technology is not limited to just India. So when you think about resolving problems, whether it's climate change, whether it's finance and governance, whether it's issues in health care, agriculture, and so on, think global. Think global. Nations, both the rich ones and the poor ones, must grapple with the intersection of technology, climate, demography, populations. When I was born, there were 7 billion. There were 3.2 billion people on Earth. 3.2. You know how many we are now? 8 billion. And that trend isn't slowing down at all. So by the time you are my age, there'll probably be 20 billion people on this planet. You guys have to be thinking about solutions. So population, climate, all of these things need to be factored into your thinking. And the future will be shaped by how we collaborate across cultures, across national boundaries, how we look at the world from a global perspective and seek solutions to global problems. Will technology be a tool for empowering the marginalized people in the world, or will it exacerbate inequality? That's a question we should be asking. Have I been too long? Should I stop? Yeah, the reason I'm asking, there's a real reason I'm asking. The folks back there are becoming impatient. Are you guys impatient? All right. They're not. Okay. I'll be done in a minute. So the question, we have to ask ourselves if, the reason I talked about finances is because we have to ask ourselves if countries will be willing to invest in innovation. The technology is there, the people are here, the problems are real. How should we not be thinking about how we invest to take those ideas that exist, the people that are willing to do it, and address those problems that the world has today? So this is not some vain suggestion. It is for real, and I hope that you guys in this center, again, will be looking at real world problems and trying to figure out how you can bring solutions to those problems. My friend Sarwat believed in the power of ideas, the power of governance, and the power of people to shape technology and shape the world in which they live. This center is not just a tribute to his memory, it is a platform for the next generation to take advantage of the challenges of our time to figure out how we can address these problems. The students, scholars, the innovators amongst you in Osmania University, I challenge you to be pioneers of responsible technology, to shape the policies that we all need in this country and everywhere that could serve the greater good, and that will ensure that India's digital future is one of inclusion, is one of sustainability, and it is one of ethical leadership. I'm going to leave a copy of what I'm saying, maybe the real copy, I'll find it. I'll leave it, and then you can read it. Students, ask for a copy, read it. The smart ones amongst you will get it. The smart ones amongst you will get it. And hopefully, the new stars of technology will come out of this room, if not out of this university, but most certainly out of this digital media center. I really hope so. The choices. I'm going to give you my last sentence because when you clap, you should stop. But I'm not going to stop. I'm going to give you my last sentence, which I had here, you know. So the choices, and this is what I was going to say. I was going to say that the choices you make today, how you study, how you innovate, how you engage with policymakers, the leaders of this country, will determine the trajectory of this country and, believe me, of the world. Just so that those who missed it can get it, I'll read that again. It will not be the same thing I said, but the choices you make today, how you study, how you innovate, how you engage with policymakers will determine the trajectory of the world. I want to also, before I step away, invite you guys, the head of the ICT university in my country, Cameroon, wants a partnership with you guys. And I promised him, I will say this, so I'm saying it. And he also, and this is to the professors, he's willing to bring some of the professors from here on a teaching assignment or some sabbatical occasionally and exchange at that level. So I'll put him in touch with you, and hopefully something will come out of it. That's why I say you have to go beyond borders. You cannot just stop on the borders of India. Thank you all so much. Now you can clap. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What an energy you filled in the hall. I thank you, Mr. Eric, for your thoughtful, provoking insight. Your perspective on global media communications will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on all of us. In fact, what you spoke is straight from your heart, and you have brought Sarwat Hussaian sir here amongst us. Thank you for doing that. Who else can know us better than our friend? And you are the right person here today to talk about him. And we from the department thank you for the partnership that you have just now announced. Thank you so much on behalf of the department and the students of journalism. I would like to just take a minute and acknowledge the presence of Professor B. Lavanya, Dean Development and UGCFS, Osmania University. Ma'am was here just a few minutes ago. And Professor Joshua, Dean of School of Law at Hussain University. Sir, kindly please clap for sir for his presence here. As we conclude this special event, it is only fitting to express our gratitude to everyone who made this possible today. I now invite Mrs. Vidya Bhandakar to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, young minds, friends of Sarwat, colleagues of Sarwat. Eric Chinje, Eric-san, I thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to stand here and have this moment with you all to thank you all for being here and to share with you all what a pleasure it is that Sarwat's legacy will continue at the Sarawat Hussaian Digital Media Center. And we are marking that with this memorial lecture that we just had from Eric, who, as you said, spoke from his heart. I'd like to thank the Department of Communication, Head of Department, Dr. Satish, who actually accepted the proposal, took it to the principal, Professor Qasim, who again signed off. You know, bureaucracy is a big deal. And they all signed off on it, and the Department of Journalism opened its doors for me to endow it with some cutting-edge equipment for the Digital Media Center. And I'd like to also thank Professor Narendra, who was a friend, classmate of Sarwat Hussaian, and my friend also. We used to hang out together when we were studying here. He is the person who was important to me because he's the one who said, Vidya, you want to continue Sarwat's legacy? Yes. He told me where and how, and he brought me to the Department of Journalism, Osmania University. And I think the students should thank Dr. Narendra, Professor Narendra, for what he did. It was an advice of enduring value, and I hope you all will benefit. If even one of the students benefit from the center, I will be at peace, and my husband Sarwat would be very much at peace. He believed in giving back to the community, and he believed in investing in education. In his last years, we spoke a lot about what he'd want to do. And I'm glad that today I stand here thanking you all for coming and that we are actually doing what he dreamt of. I only wish he were here to do it himself. But thank you for coming. It's an emotional time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your heartfelt words and unwavering support. Your contribution ensures the Sarwat Hussaian legacy continues to inspire future generations. And we, from the department, would definitely make benefit of the services and the sponsorship that is being done to us. And all the students here are thanking you from their heart. With this, we come to the end of today's program. A heartfelt thank you to all the esteemed guests, deans, HODs, and the faculty members, students of Arts College and from various colleges of Hyderabad who have attended this program and made it a successful event. As ma'am rightly said, this event is incomplete if I don't thank and appreciate the efforts that have been given towards us by Professor Karnam Narendra sir. I request all of you to please clap and thank sir from your end as well. This event would not have been possible without his constant help and guidance. Thank you, sir. And a big thanks to all the students of MCJ first year and second years and research scholars who have put in their efforts in making this event wonderful success. Please clap for them. On this note, on behalf of the Department of Journalism and the faculty, I thank the head of the department and all the faculty members for making this event grand.
All the colleges welcome.
Yes, I did. Thank you. Sir wanted to thank on behalf of him as well to all the colleges for coming here, especially the faculty who have brought in them here, and some individual organizations also have come here to make this event grand success. Thank you one and all. I am Dr. Anita signing off. I request all of you to please leave the boxes after you have the refreshments on the table itself so that our people will help you in removing them. Thank you all.